Last time on Dock of Shame.
Oh, it's a cliffhanger.
Can we also talk about how Owen lost his trunks?
No.
Yes, that's a theme
Okay,
for him.
alright, we won't.
But this is probably the most dramatic. Even maybe throughout the entire show.
But sir, the Rugrats are already babies! Then make them teenagers!
Welcome, campers, to the Dock of Shame podcast. My name is Matt. Welcome back to another episode. With me, I am joined by...
I am Chris, and when you got it, flaunt it.
I am Walsh, and when you got it, give it back.
I am Gabe, the hometown fluffy boy.
Wow, I wasn't expecting a producer's reference on this podcast, but okay.
Wait, that
Welcome,
was a reference?
Mine was. Mine was the reference. Fluffy, yes. I don't know if there's any fluffy boys in the producers. So
I was referencing Deltarune.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that. Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, welcome back. Episode 3 of Total Drama Island. We are on the episode The Big Sleep. What did you guys think of this episode, just kind of as an overview before we get started?
It was just as torturous as I remember.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't, it wasn't anything special to me. It wasn't... I found that a lot of these early episodes are just kind of whatever. I'm not... It's not really... it's alright. It's good. You're learning the characters, but not much else right now.
Right.
I realized for me, rewatching the series, this was probably the most forgettable episode, because I forgot this episode even happened.
Yeah.
Fair.
See, the reason why I find it torturous is because I used to have really bad insomnia, and, I went, the longest I've been awake, it was, 3 days with less than an hour of sleep per night.
Oh, yeah. God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good. That is not good.
No.
It's definitely... We'll talk about it too when it gets there, but there is some weird ass calculations when it comes to how long these campers ended up staying up without health concerns.
Right.
But we'll talk about that.
We're not going to talk about the Chris's last time on every single time, but I do want to... There is, a slight voice crack when he says last time. It was very subtle, but I was just wait, what? It's last time.
Listen. Guy's still trying to earn his voice.
No, I know.
He's just trying to understand what Chris McClane is, even though this voice actor, who I forget the name of at the moment,
I think
basically
it is also Chris Potenza.
Does the same exact voice for almost every single character he performs as. So
they also have him state too that it's going to be the most dramatic campfire yet, but it's the second campfire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it's what's literally what reality shows do on a daily basis. I think of Hell's Kitchen every time. If you see a preview for Hell's Kitchen,
it's the most dramatic.
Every time it is literally just Gordon Ramsay yelling. Someone is crying. Someone fucked up the scallops again, and then it's just every single time the risotto screwed up. But every single time the preview is the exact same. It being it's gonna be the craziest episode ever, and usually it's all right.
Okay, we get into it. Theme song and. Chris decides to wake everyone up with an air horn sound into a megaphone.
Yes. Is that necessary?
It's as you expect.
Honestly, I think that would hurt Chris more than it would hurt anyone else because he's got to stand next to that. Everyone else has walls in the way.
I have a standing theory that I think Chris McClane is just immune to pain, or he just derives pleasure from it. Probably both. Most likely the latter.
Is he immune to his own torture?
I would think so. It seems like it.
As his insanity slowly sets in.
It is. It's the start for sure.
Yeah. Everyone comes out of their cabins at that point. Lashana complains that it's 7 a.m. and asks, "What is she, a farmer?"
I don't know how she knows that. She just immediately wakes up and knows what time it is.
Don't you?
Maybe
they have clocks in the cabins. I don't know.
When I wake up, I forget what day it is.
When I wake up, I forget who I am.
You should get that looked at.
Yes, definitely. Some early onset issues.
Chris introduces the challenge for today. Before they get breakfast, they have to run 20 kilometers.
So, if anyone ever did this to me, I would punch them. And I'm not a violent person.
Even if it's for $100,000.
Yeah, no, I don't think I would put myself in a situation to win $100,000 and be subject to run like that.
Well, that's, honestly, it reminded me a lot of, being back in high school, where, people would have to, run the track. And you had the kids who were actually trying, and then you also had, the kids who could not care less and just walk the whole time.
I remember that.
That was me. That was me in my little sweat outfit. Absolutely.
That was not me, because running was, the only physical thing that I could do. So I ran it and did the mile under 7 minutes when I was in high school.
Damn.
I have not been able to achieve that since.
That is a humble brag. Maybe mine is the humble part.
I one time forgot to wear my gym shorts, so I ran in jeans.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's worse.
Oh, man. Gabe,
that's so bad.
That is, I commend you. To have to go through that torture its own. That's good on you.
I used to be the kid who tried to run in his gym shorts, and then I turned into the kid who decided to walk the track in their pajama pants.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, I should have been smart and just skipped gym. I probably would have been better as a human being, honestly.
Yeah, it's alright.
You know how during the pacer test they were like, we don't have enough time for everybody, try their hardest, so you're gonna pair up with somebody who can probably only do less than 35, and then somebody who's actually gonna run it.
God.
Oh, actually, yeah, I remember doing something like that.
Yeah, that was not fun. That's fun at least.
No, I just remember hey, I'll do the 35 because I'm not gonna make it more than that. Who wants to?
And then
Appreciate
everyone else after that.
Yeah, pretty much.
They all get up to run. I forget what Chris does to tell them go. He might just shout go. But they all get off to a start, and then Tyler just kind of goes right after it.
So, I just to go back a little bit, because I forgot that it happened before they started running.
Okay.
Eva, they have a scene where someone, I forget who, kind of reaches for the iPod, she tries to almost bite their hand off and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I think they have a confessional with Courtney that kind of says Eva's a problem. She needs to get a grip. And I'm thinking and this is kind of goes across a few episodes, at least the first few episodes, where they try to make it really obvious out of the gate who is the subject of potentially going home. That's
right.
It's very they make it very obvious that that Eva's going to be a very much a focal point of it. So it's just
especially early on, just with having to develop the characters a little bit before they get the boot. I kind of see why.
Yeah.
But this is Eva's got a temper.
Yes. Pretty much.
I also want to actually talk about when Courtney's in the confessional, because Courtney, I noticed like when they talk about well, it happens two different times. When Courtney's in the confessional, she says that Eva's only been here a day, and then to jump ahead a little bit, when they get fed after the run, Gwen says that they've been eating, like, they finally got, like, a real meal after almost a whole week of brown sludge that they've been eating, and I'm like, wait, what? So, have they been here 2 days or a week?
This show can't count.
Or has Gwen just
Chris can't count, the show can't count.
Or has Gwen just privately been eating brown sludge for the days leading up to the island?
It's lost. It's lost. I solved it.
It's lost.
It's lost.
All right, there was a boat crash that we did not see. That's how Total Drama Rama is gonna end. Like how all of this has just been a dream of Courtney's. Well, like in her like comatose state as she's just lying on the dock after the boat crash.
Jesus.
And then they're like,
So
how many years has it been? And one character says 3, and another one says 5, because no one can count.
There's some clips of different groups of people running. A lot of people are trying, like the Jeffs and the Bridgets are really trying. Katie, Sadie, and Gwen and Harold are like just all walking. I forget what Harold says, but he says something weird, and then Gwen just looks at him and goes, "Don't walk beside me."
I actually think he says something relatively normal, and like and he was just kind of like, why is everyone like running so running so fast? I don't know how they could do that. And then she was just like, "Don't walk next to me." Like I think that they were trying just to be like Gwen, just being standoffish.
Harold's weird.
Yeah.
They all get back in. They get back to the tent. They're giving Noah like CPR, like trying to pump his heart back moving again. And then Harold comes in, the very last one, and claims that he was having heart palpitations, which he was walking, and so were a lot of other people, but he still came in last.
Walking does a lot to your heart.
But that wasn't the challenge. What?
Yes.
The next thing they had to do was eat a lot of food, including turkey.
But I think my favorite part of this segment was Owen crying in the diary, but the way that he was crying was very very unique, very interesting. Because like ooh 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 ooh, and it's like what is happening?
I forgot about that, and I rewatched it today.
I think Owen likes food, guys.
Yeah, no, he just definitely a character trait.
Yep.
Just might. He just might.
And then after that, Chris comes in, announces the actual challenge, which is to stay awake as long as possible.
Wait, hold on. Now that we're at like the end of where they're finished eating, I actually want to talk about. I don't know if it's just a thing where like some cartoons are just like weirdly freaky, but after they to like visually show that they are all stuffed with food, a lot of the characters have weird belly bumps.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like especially like the girls, like they're pregnant. It's
it's
so weird, and it's very strange and off-settling.
Like those belly bumps just go away after that scene. Like they was just they were trying to portray that they were full, but like they also could have just not done that.
Not done that and shown like empty plates and bones and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really want to say something, but
What?
Is it a DeviantArt joke?
yes.
Because I had the exact same thought.
Oh god. This is an inside joke. I don't understand.
Well, Chris, do you know anything about DeviantArt?
I know that is a place where art happens.
So it's where art happens, but there's a lot of like weird art on there.
I would figure, yes.
Yeah, including like
Have you ever heard, have you ever heard of
Jack's Film's tour of his house? Weird.
Okay.
like Chris? Have you ever heard of the topic mpreg?
Oh, yeah, okay. Now I know where we're going here. Okay, yes.
We don't need to go into this any further.
no more further. I think
No
we've
more,
established.
please.
No.
Please, no more.
No. No. So Chris introduces the Awake-a-thon, is what he calls it. Still on his megaphone, further torturing these very, very tired teenagers.
16-year-olds. This is child
16.
abuse. This is fucking child abuse.
Yes.
No, they have a contract.
They do have contracts.
That does not matter. That is, unless Canada has some sort of weird child abuse law or whatever.
You know what's fucked up? The fact that because they are children, all of their, like, they had to have a parent or, like, just somebody over 18 sign off on this. So
all the
like,
parents
yeah.
agreed to this.
So they're like, yeah, I'll put my
Parents
kid
were totally
through
okay
this.
with it.
Yeah, I'll put my
For
kid through this.
$100,000. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Not even $400,000, just the chance to win $100,000.
Yeah, exactly.
So, they quickly cut after that to 12 hours in, and all 21 campers are still awake.
The interesting thing about this challenge, sorry to cut you off, Matt, but
No, it's okay.
I find it very reminiscent of an old school Big Brother competition called the Pressure Cooker, where they put the contestants in like a glass box where they would just, all they were doing is just standing there and holding a button. They're not doing anything physical or anything. They're just kind of like standing in place for as long as possible. And it's meant to put them in a contained space, probably with people that they hate, for as long as period of time until, you know, the last person is standing. And I just found I found this competition very similar to that, where no one's really doing anything physical. It's just how long can you last before dropping, and I found that a very interesting comparison in this situation.
Yeah, totally.
You guys remember the episode of Zoe 101 where they were having, like, the competition to win a vacation, and you just had to keep your hand on the car the longest?
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh my
that's
God.
exactly it. That's exactly it. Yep, that's like the Pressure Cooker.
I
There
hated
were
that
so many
episode.
other shows that did that.
Yeah.
Like it was Zoe 101. I'm pretty sure Ned's Declassified had one of those.
Yeah, it's a very like I don't know why they don't do that anymore in Big Brother, because that's like one of the like fan favorite competitions. Maybe it's just they want people staying up 24 hours. I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh, yeah, no, it's incredibly unhealthy. They should not be doing this to their contestants.
Yeah, that's true. That too as well.
Yeah. So Owen's talking about how like, oh, they're going great. Stayed awake for 12 hours. It's awesome. And then he throws his arms up, freezes for like a really long time, and then falls over.
All right, that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yes, that was
But-
the first person out.
Just the fact that like nothing was moving on the screen. It was just Owen staying there, and then they like rotated his body. Animation.
I wonder, like, and I want to ask you this, Walsh, because I find that like the way that this is animated, how the show is animated, do they kind of do it where they have the background and then like, I don't know, like keep the background as is like the entire time, and then just have like the characters kind of like it kind of reminds me of like a 3D animation even though it's 2D, if that makes any sense.
It does a little, where the backgrounds can be very flat, and the they are moving all of the characters in front of it. So in that sense, it is very reminiscent, but it does remind me very much so of a lot of other Canadian shows where it's very flat and much easier to animate, probably in Flash. But I think I get where you come from a little.
Yeah.
Yeah. We get a first instance of Trent and Gwen, who are kind of flirting. start out a little like talking with each other, flirting a little bit.
Yes.
This goes on throughout the episode of them just like having some nice conversations and getting to know each other, and we get like this little budding romance going on.
Oh, some other stuff happens in this scene too. What is it? Like some of the characters start to nod off and like have some dreams. And is the canon of these shows that everything being filmed is either being filmed live or has been like pre-filmed before?
I think
that's
pre-films.
Like, okay, that's the reality of this like canon, because they pretty much like imagined that like Tyler was having like a dream, which was very strange. And then, or there was, I forget who was dreaming, and maybe you guys remember better than I do, but one character was dreaming about counting sheep, and one of the sheep was Chef, and now I'm going to...
That happened later on.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember the exact
The first one was with the dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy, or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know how they got the rights to that, but...
it's very public domain by this point.
Oh, is it? Oh, my bad. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like a 100-year-old music piece that was usually end up get released from their contract or whatever the hell it's called, copyright.
Makes sense.
So there were like two dream things. There was the chef thing, and then there was Tyler imagined that Katie and Sadie just got fucking killed by a bear.
Yep.
This is where I'm like Cody and Tyler shouldn't and then the episode kind of goes on, and we'll go back to like earlier in the episode, but like should they have been eliminated at that point? Like, I think that there's a point after like Tyler nods off or Cody nods off and they see those dreams and then they wake up that they're still technically considered awake for like at least a segment or two.
They don't know how to count.
I also think it was too like it wasn't necessarily. I think I would consider it more hallucinating rather than dreaming.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've definitely done that where I'm not asleep, but I'm definitely like see things that
I'm dreaming
or think about things that did not happen.
Yeah, that's definitely happened to me, especially when I'm trying not to fall asleep, and then I can kind of like will myself to stay awake like they have.
Okay.
But I also want to talk about, too, in the dream sequence where Chef is there, Chef has a tattoo. How does Tyler... Cody was dreaming about the sheep, right?
Cody dreams that.
How does Cody know what Chef's tattoo looks like?
I don't think the ballet thing was a dream. I think that was actually him dancing.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
I think that he was sprinkling, he was purposely like sprinkling dust on them to make them fall asleep.
Because it was more than just they were all like starting to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Another thing that happens kind of in this whole sequence, there's a lot that goes on, just kind of like, this is a weird challenge to like describe a sequence of, because they're all just standing around.
It's a montage. The whole episode's kind of like a montage, essentially.
Yeah, so we may be like going back and forth between a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
Just as an example, Heather decides to form her alliance.
Mm-hmm.
She mentions that she wants to find people who are desperate or dumb enough, and then it cuts to Lindsay and Beth. Lindsay trying to stand on her head, and Beth trying to follow.
Yeah, I find like what's good about this show is that there had been a stare, which I don't know if that was more of like a later years thing with like shows like Big Brother, and sometimes Survivor, although I did not see the early years of Survivor, where it used to be like the guys would come together to form one giant alliance. And I appreciate that the first kind of alliance in this animation was a female alliance, because that does not get as enough play or enough credit in actual reality TV.
Right, and especially the fact that Heather specifically is the villain of this series.
Mm-hmm. Definitely,
it's enjoyable.
yes.
So they convince to be part of an alliance. Beth is like way too excited, like actually thinks that she is guaranteed final 3, when that's not how this works. She's like, oh my god, I'm in the final 3. Beth, there are still 20 other people here.
Yeah, she's a little too high hopes.
Maybe she's just sleep deprived.
Yeah.
And you can also see kind of the beginning of a lot of Heather's personality throughout this whole episode, just how controlling she is, especially of her alliance.
Mm-hmm.
Lindsay mentions that, hey, she thinks that guy in the red is cute. But I don't know if you can hear my dad at all. They should close the door. Sorry. He's calling for my dog, trying to get her inside. Sorry. Heather is basically just like with Lindsay. No, you can't date him. He's on the other team.
So,
I
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, this is just going back to when they first, decided to form this alliance. Is it meant to be kept a secret?
You would think.
No. This is a genuine question, because I don't know if it's later on in this episode or the next one. Heather just kind of shouts, "What about our alliance?" or something like that. And
that does happen during the second one. The second one we're recording today. In the next episode.
Okay. The next episode,
something like that happens. Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be kind of secret, but it's not. It really
they don't do a good job.
They blow that up real quick. Yeah.
Continuing on from Heather's controlling stuff, at one point, Eva drops her MP3 player on the way to the bathroom, and Heather just smoothly picks it up.
That shit was not smooth.
It was
Chris knows
as
exactly
obvious
what
as it was obvious. This reminded me a lot about Survivor, because this happens a few times. This happened a few times over the course of at least of my history of watching Survivor, where people would literally steal people's book bags, especially just to look through them for idols, or just steal someone's shoes and hide them someplace just to get revenge. So this is also a very reality show type thing that happens. Just to go back real quick, when Lindsay, Heather's like, you can't hang out with Tyler. Wasn't she the one in the first episode to say, keep your friends close and your enemies closer?
To Lindsay.
Yeah. So, you're being a hypocrite at that point. If you're just no, you can't hang out with anyone outside of your team. Where meanwhile, that's the whole freaking, spiel that you tried to give in the beginning. I don't know, it's very weird.
Heather's a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Heather plays a controlling game, doesn't necessarily mean she's being smart about it.
Yes, I agree on that front.
Although there are those characters in reality shows that say a bunch of shit that they don't actually mean.
Yeah. Trying to be
or go back on
manipulative as possible. It's the name of the game for sure.
After 24 hours, Chris is like, "Wow, you will." He was surprised that everyone was staying awake this long. So he opens up and starts to read a fairy tale. Once upon a time, in a foreign kingdom.
You guys can correct me on the order of events, but can we talk about Justin?
That's later on.
Okay, all right, we'll get there then.
Okay.
So we see a lot of campers start nodding to sleep, and it's very, very nice. They're all happy. Cody falls asleep in Owen's butt, and then is awoken by a massive fart in his face.
That's comedy.
That's comedy,
dude. That's the funniest thing I've seen all week.
There's a lot of Owen fart stuff in this episode.
More than just the farts. Have we been keeping track of Owen's farts? Was that, I know that we've talked about this before, but
I don't think so.
Okay, because I think there's just too many to count.
There's too many to count.
Yeah, y'all gonna make me count it, aren't you?
Only if you want to.
I'm
not making you.
It. Yeah,
We're not making you
this
do
is
it.
That's a torture project at that
All
point.
right. I think after this, I'm gonna start to count it, and not on the next episode, but the episode after that of Daka Shame. I'll have a total of the amount of farts we've had so far, and then the
Okay.
amount of farts by the end of the episode.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Wow. This is gonna be a pouring tracker.
Oh yeah.
Courtney makes a note about or does a confessional thing about the fact that she says if she can just keep moving, she thinks she'll stay awake. And she does this weird, just like having her arms up, moving her legs. I've tried to do the motion. That doesn't work. This is a podcast. There's some more flirting between Twent and
Twent and Gren.
Twent and Gren.
Guys, I hope Gren wins.
And as that goes on, Owen sleepwalks past them, completely naked.
Yes, and go. You could go ahead and finish your thought.
No, you go. You go. Finish it out.
I was looking at. I look at this as Owen is our greatest outlet of discovering the character of the island, because quite literally the montage that we see pretty much for the rest of the episode, we don't have. I mean, we could touch on them as we go along, but he basically goes on a sleepwalking adventure throughout the island, butt naked. But it kind of you get to discover like all the different creatures that are on the island a lot more. You get to see all these random places. You get to see the animals start to have a little bit of like personality to them as well. So very much even though maybe an unnecessary endeavor, an interesting one at that.
It breaks up the tension.
Yes. Yeah.
He mentions that his sleepwalking is a result of eating beans.
Yeah.
Which may or may not be important.
Oh my god, then we get farting and naked sleepwalking.
A few of those endeavors, he walks to the cliff from the first challenge, and then turns around, and then falls off the cliff anyway. Still sound asleep. We see him swimming with fish, like leaping out of the water as fish would. And then the camera changes and they're going up a waterfall. Which I thought was a very good moment. I really liked that part.
Yeah, Owen is one with the salmon.
And then later on at the very end, he's like asleep around a lot of big feet. Bigfoots, Sasquatches.
Yeah,
they just kind of poke him, and then he farts and they kick him out.
I like how Sasquatch has just become canon in this show, just like that.
Yeah.
Just like boom.
There are Sasquatches on this island.
Multiple Sasquatches.
Yes.
Sasquatches.
Sasquatches.
Sasquatch. No S at the end. Sasquatch.
No, Sasquatches.
Sasquatches.
It's like geese. Sasquatch.
Don't they call it like Sasquatch and Aqua in a future episode?
They do. I
Do
think
they?
so. I think Gabe's right. I don't forget when it happens, but there's something about like the naming of it that's similar to the camp.
Gotcha.
Oh, now we gotta have like a theory time on how like where the Sasquatch come from, the Sasquatch come from.
Sasquatch. Do you have when Chef is in his sheep outfit playing the harp? Does that add to your theories about Chef at all, Matt?
Well, I don't think that adds as much, but I think his tattoo is going to be a very interesting thing moving forward, and I'm excited to theorize about what that might be.
What was the tattoo that you saw the first time? I didn't quite see it.
I think it was a pretty like general, like normal looking tattoo. Like it was like a tough guy tattoo.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm gonna see if I could try to find a photo.
Okay.
But
In the meantime.
in the meantime.
Yeah, move forward.
In the meantime, They mentioned that they've been awake for 51 hours, which is just over 2 days of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I have it here.
Oh, the anchor.
It's an anchor with like an S over it, so
Yeah.
it gives the impression that like he's been, he's been sailing. He's
Like he's a Navy.
in the Navy.
Guy?
Navy. That was it. Navy. Yeah.
Navy. Canadian
Navy or Army. Yes. Canavy.
Canadian.
Canadian Navy.
Canadian Navy.
Yeah, there is a lot of time that goes by in this competition, and they're awake for more than 3 days.
Yep.
That's not... I don't think that's possible. Like, it is, I get, but, like, that's, like, they're supposed to be, like, in the hospital by then.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
What about?
I'm just saying that this is just... Let's just establish how absolutely skewed this reality is.
No, I know. We Chris tortures 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
They even, when they're running earlier in the episode, they even ask, like, "You're enjoying this, aren't you?" And Chris is like, "A little."
He's not. Yeah, he doesn't really play coy with it.
Now you can talk about Justin's eyes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I didn't remember that, and the first time that I saw his fucking eyes without like the black outline around it, I got like weirdly like freaked out. I was so uncomfortable.
Like, how did they forget that in the animation?
Yeah. Okay. So and then it's revealed that Justin painted over his eyes. That's why he's just been standing the whole time. So he just falls asleep like just standing, which is pretty impressive in itself. But like, it was just freaky the way that it looked at first, because it just looked like glob eyes, even though it didn't look like that the whole time. And I was like, what the fuck? What happened? But yeah, that scared me. I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, I like how they had him, like, it wasn't that, like, he was leaning against something. He was standing straight up with his arms at his hips and just, like, standing, like, stoically like a superhero. And, like, and he somehow fell asleep in that position.
It's wild.
Where do you get the paint? How
Where
do you
did
do
he
that?
get the paint? That's a
Also,
good question.
he's cheating. Like, straight up, like, I guess they don't really care about that, right?
Well, they said it once he woke up. They said he was out.
Yeah,
So,
I know.
Like,
It's
once they realized, oh, you were cheating, you're out.
Yeah.
Two small things happened before the next like thing that Chris did. Duncan did the warm hand in the water thing to Harold to make him wet himself because mature humor. And then Noah and Cody were like sleeping together. I think Noah was like kissing Cody's ear or something like that. And then they wake up screaming 5 feet apart because they're not gay. And then Chris decides to pull out The History of Canada, a pop-up book.
Yep.
Wait,
Chapter
hold on.
1, a beaver.
Yes.
The beaver.
Oh my God.
And fun fact, I'll talk about the rest of the censorship at the end, but this is one of the examples where the censorship gets in the way of the joke. Because in the censored version, they say the beaver makes a real fine hat. But in the actual one, it says the beaver makes a damn fine hat, and then they all groan. So
Yeah, like that. Wait, yeah, like I didn't notice that at the first time.
There have also been like a couple other censors between just around the show. Like they censored "shut up" or even the word "freaking" at one point.
they do
I noticed
freaking
that
a lot. They do stupid a lot. They changed stupid to lame-o, and they did that later with one of Eva's lines.
Yep. I also noticed too. Gwen said something that I really felt in my heart before Chris pulled out the history of Canada, where she was talking to Trent, and she said that she was She said, "I think I'm so tired. I'm not tired anymore," and I really felt that because I've been there. And I
Yeah.
felt that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm with that.
Hashtag relatable.
After that point, Trent falls, and it's just Gwen and Duncan left competing in this competition. Chris gives them time to use the bathroom. Duncan goes, been in there a while, and then the camera crew goes there. You can hear them talking, and then find Duncan asleep just on the can.
I found interesting about this is like I kind of like I called it producer voice, where like the producer or whatever like is like with behind the camera and checks in on the contestants. This happens a lot during Big Brother. It does not get shown obviously on the regular show, but on the live feeds, you're well aware that the producers are either talking to them like early on in the day to tell them like what's happening during the day, either in a diary room. And sometimes that producer you end up hearing that producer voice on the live feeds. It's very weird because it's like, wait, where is this voice coming from? Like from a removed body, pretty much. Like you don't ever see them because they're behind the walls of the house. So
Yeah.
it very much reminded me of that.
So with that, Chris gets past a note, and the Gophers win. Again, since Gwen was the one who stayed awake the longest, and then she promptly falls asleep.
Deservedly so.
Yeah. Next scene, Eva is freaking out in the Bass cabin about her MP3 player that has gone missing. Everyone is outside. She's throwing stuff out the windows. She's yelling, like saying, "Whoever has it, I'm going to kill you." Stuff like that. You know, normal stuff.
Yep.
What I find interesting is that Heather comes in after that, and says like, "Oh, is she looking for this? Oh, I found it. I was trying to find it," and trying to put on like this nice persona as if she had nothing to do with the actual disappearing of the MP3 in the first place. And it's very weird, by the way, 10 years ago, like to think that was like the MP3s were just normal back then.
Yeah.
iPhones still hadn't exploded back then. Like that's fucking weird. But I found this like a moment of like Heather's jury management, even though like Eva, there's no jury in this. Her like kind of like trying to play nice with Eva, and like I guess trying to convince others that she's nice, but like I don't know, like does she really need to convince the killer bass that she's a nice person or whatever? Like I don't know. It's like there's no really necessary reason.
No, I disagree. There's definitely a reason, because then it makes Eva look ridiculous.
Well, she looked ridiculous anyway.
But if it was like somebody had stolen it, then her anger is a little more justified with accusing other people of stealing it. But the fact that she was the one who dropped it and then accused everyone else of stealing it, and then destroyed most of their stuff while looking for it, it just makes her look a lot worse.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Which is perfect for what Heather's trying to do.
Yeah, I get that.
We head to the campfire ceremony. The marshmallows are awarded to Duncan, Bridget, Courtney, Katie and Sadie together, Tyler, DJ, Jeff, and then we have Eva and Harold as the last two. And the final marshmallow, of course, goes to Harold because they made it way too obvious who was going to go home.
Yeah.
Most dramatic campfire ceremony, my ass.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, she did almost kill someone with weapons, a few weapons.
She did.
Yeah.
She did.
I also wanted to talk about, too, we passed it, but after the winner was announced, I think, at some point during the montage of Owen sleepwalking, because this is, of course, going on at the same time, Owen ends up on top of a beaver dam, and
Yes,
the beavers are just like making the dam around him, and where one of them are tapping is like right on top of his groin, and that made me very uncomfortable.
Yeah, a lot of bodily humor. I think generally that was for a kid show.
During the after Eva goes down the dock of shame, which I don't know why that name sounds so familiar, but after she does that, she throws the stick at Courtney, and that would have like murdered her. We can all agree, right?
Yeah, or at least like a good impaling, like Phineas Gage style impaling.
You love to see that.
I found it interesting that we got a post-elimination confession, though, which was very reminiscent of Survivor.
And they don't really do that.
They don't?
No, not like Eva's. I know a lot of the later ones. They talk on the dock a little bit, but it's not like on the boat going away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like this is like a very. It is like there is not. I think it only happens a few more times in this season. Like there's not a lot of like once they're eliminated, they're done. Like remember, this is it's a little spoilery, so I don't know if you want me to say it about that. But I think we've also made it clear that the people who probably have watched this already might have already seen it. But anyways, there is an episode where a character gets eliminated but never says anything at all throughout the entire episode because they show up only at the end and they get eliminated. So that's also a thing that happens.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now. Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the bass who are remaining all hold up their marshmallow sticks and pledge that they will not end up here again next week.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get the Owen with the Sasquatch scene, and then episode ends. Anything else that I may have missed, just because this episode was very, very weirdly sequenced?
Not too much. There was like a surprising amount of. There was a good amount of censoring in this episode.
Yes, I have the list up here. So Chris changed "shut up" to "get out." Chris says that is so freaking cool. Changed to "that is so crazy incredible." to Justin's eye paint. Of course, the beaver has a damn fine hat. Changed to a real fine hat. And then Eva saying, "Who needs this stupid TV show anyway?" Changed to "Who needs this lame-o TV show?" Guess kids in 2008 couldn't handle the word stupid.
I knew I couldn't.
I immediately
What were you, like 12? No, I was 12. You were 10.
Yep, I was a baby.
You
I
were a
also like the logic that they sent her down the dock of shame, and then they were like, "Wait, hold on, bring her back. We got to do a confessional."
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So, we do ratings before Drama Rama, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I also wanted to have your guys' opinions on Owen's superhuman capabilities.
Of like swimming up the waterfall.
Yes, swimming up the waterfall, being able to survive freezing temperatures with just his bare skin, his incredible, stink defense mechanisms,
Well, cartoon is the boring answer. So
I think that Owen. That's never the answer. Go Cubs.
No.
I think the true answer is that Owen. I think in his sleeping state is a more powerful human being than him in his awake state, and there's an untapped superhero there that we have not discovered yet.
is it like a Jekyll and Hyde scenario?
Or are you just saying
sleep.
that? Are you saying that bisexuals are superhuman?
They are.
They
but
are
I don't know if that
superhuman, but-
I don't know if that necessarily applies to Owen.
I disagree. I think it's completely because he's a bisexual.
Only because he's bisexual. Matt, I want you to swim up a waterfall.
Well, I can only do that when I'm sleeping.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Right, it's only this. It's sleeping. It's the power of sleep, and being bisexual.
What was that one movie that said like that we only use like 10% of our brain, and that if we tap into that untapped potential, we can do incredible things or whatever? Some
Is that
bullshit.
iRobot? That sounds like iRobot. I don't think that's iRobot.
It's not. It was a really recent movie, or kind of recent.
But it's very
it
true.
was with like Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
It was called
Deus
Lucy.
Deus Ex Machina.
I think it was called Lucy.
No, Ghost in the Shell. I don't know.
No, not that one.
No.
But I think we can all agree that any female born after 1993 can't cook. All they know is McDonald's, charge their phone, twerk, be bisexual, eat hot chip, and lie.
The fuck?
Eat hot chips.
What is that meme?
Y'all haven't seen these of like fucking like so many fucking hold on.
We were doing a great job at not swearing until this moment.
I don't. I'm pretty sure we swear it already.
The past tense is swore.
I think we swear it
right.
already. But
I
it
said
was,
damn. Yeah, that's to me.
Beaver.
Should I say it again?
Real.
This is Dan Beavers.
Matt,
Stop being so lame-o.
Matt, should I say it again?
Stop being so
go
totally. Say what?
You know.
Okay. All right. Let's get our ratings done after that, whatever that was. Who would like to give theirs first?
I will.
All right.
I will say it was a 5.
Okay.
I think it was just an average episode. Nothing spectacular. You're starting to see development of the series and how it ends up going. Nothing great. Nothing spectacular.
All right.
I'll go next.
Go for it.
10 out of 10 just because of the voice crack at the beginning of the episode.
Gabe's rating system is going to be very different from the rest of us, so it's going to skew the average, but that's okay.
Honestly, it's like it would have been a 1 out of 10 for me if it weren't for the voice crack. So
Yes.
Okay.
I do agree that it definitely brings it up, but I think this is this is a much lower episode for me, and I think that there's a lot better ones ahead of it. The pacing's a little off in this episode, and I think that while the challenge is kind of interesting, it's a little all over the place. So I'm gonna and it a little kind of forces the elimination. So
yeah,
I'm going to put it at a 4.
All right. I'm going to keep it at I'm going to put mine at a 5. Which is lower than the first episode for me. I really do like this is kind of this and the next episode really start to get that steam of like the characters' personalities really building. But again, it's so segmented. There's not a clear line other than they have to stay awake. And yeah, that forced elimination was forced. So that is that. Walsh, would you like to share with us the Total Drama Rama plot description?
Yes, I have
week.
it. I have it right here. Here we go. Now I want to be very specific when I say the title, so that I do not have it wrong. It is episode 3 of season 1, written by Lori Elliott, and I like including the writer of each episode so that they know what they've done. The title of the episode is Cluck Work Orange.
I breathed.
Jude.
I actually breathed.
Jude meets a chicken from a petting zoo and befriends it. He doesn't know that the chicken is an evil psychopath.
Oh my
and
God.
the kids have to warn him about it. Meanwhile, Cody slowly becomes a werewolf after sucking his thumb after petting a wolverine.
what the
I'm currently exhaling out of my nose forcefully. That's how funny I think that is.
Oh, I wish I was Jared 19.
What?
Yep.
Like, that first part, like, okay. That as, like, a plot, it makes sense. It's weird, but it makes sense.
That's even a stretch to say that.
That's a stretch, but, like, I get it.
Okay.
But to have a B plot of a kid turning into a fucking werewolf from sucking his thumb. Why?
Like, just petting a regular, as far as we know at least, a regular wolf. Like,
Well, you said Wolverine, right? Right, Walsh?
Yes, but he thinks he's turning into a werewolf. Just because he pet it.
I would like to, like, set the record that Wolverines are not wolves.
Wolverine is a
Sure.
superhero.
But it has WOL.
But the animal Wolverine is like in the weasel family.
But WOL.
What? Nothing.
Okay, hold on. Just not to extend this any further, but Cody,
Yeah.
the Cody sucking his thumb and is he actually turning into a werewolf, or is it that he thinks he is? Because that changes it a little bit for me.
Meanwhile, Cody slowly becomes a werewolf.
Okay,
after
there you go.
sucking
Alright,
his
cool.
thumb after
Okay.
petting
Okay.
a Wolverine.
Okay.
Wait, can we? Has anyone here seen Clockwork Orange?
Yes.
I know, like, the idea of it.
Okay, I don't. Can someone? I don't even want to.
Does it have relation to Clockwork Orange?
Well, it's named Clockwork Orange.
So, like, Clockwork Orange, basically, like, this dude, he's got, like, the I don't know, eyeliner, mascara, I don't know, under one eye, and, like, the bowler hat, and he, like, looks menacingly into the camera while holding a cane. That's just, like, a shot from the movie. That's not what the movie's about. But
Yeah, I was about to say that's all it's about.
You know, when I went to Google the plot of Clockwork Orange, that's crazy. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, wow, yeah, amazing. That's incredible.
it's one giant shot, like, close-up shot, the entire movie, on Malcolm McDowell.
After he's jailed for bludgeoning the cat lady to death, Alex submits to behavior modification techniques to earn his freedom.
Oh yeah.
He's conditioned to abhor violence, return to the world defenseless. Alex becomes the victim of his prior victims. That's what in the hell? That is dark.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, I know it's a dark movie, but guys, I know. Let's call this episode Clockwork Orange. The kids will get that
After one of the darkest, most, like, famous films ever made.
You have this up on Wikipedia, right?
Uh-huh.
Or somewhere?
Yes.
Okay. So the ratings, do they have them listed on Wikipedia? I'm very curious if anyone's actually tuning in to watch.
They don't have. Oh, you mean the viewers, not like the rating of the episode.
Right. The amount of people who actually tune in to watch this stuff.
From what I'm actually looking at it, it's one of the higher viewed episodes. With most of the episodes, like, on average, especially with it dipping a little later as the show goes on. At the beginning, it's like an average of, I'd probably say 0.75 million, while later it goes down to probably like 0.60 million. This episode,
It's still too many.
This episode apparently had 0.8 million viewers. That is
800,000.
800,000 people sat down, saw Total Drama Rama, Clockwork Orange, and was like, I'll let my child watch this.
Wow.
Don't let your kids watch Cartoon Network unsupervised.
As we made very clear, this is the first of 2 episodes that we're filming in one night. God, I'm scared if this is the first one. What the second one's gonna be.
Yeah, tune in for the next episode.
Tune in for this next episode. That's gonna do it for this one. It's been a trip. I hope you all don't turn into werewolves by sucking your thumbs. See you all in the next one. The Doc of Shame podcast is brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter @Doc of Shame and find more of our work at Team Chaos Pods.